This viewer writes as follows. I was diagnosed with medulloblastoma in 2017. I'm 36 years old. In 2022, my cancer came back in another part of the brain, but close to the first one I had. I only had radiation, and now in 2022, I'm doing 4 to 6 rounds of chemotherapy. Do you suggest CBD oil for patients like me, or do you suggest something else?
I understand completely what is happening to you, that you have recurrent medulloblastoma, which is not uncommon in adults, and it's more common in children. Your first line of treatment, they are correctly instituting, is chemotherapy. And I'm sure they will have given you the correct cocktail, but to emphasize that chemotherapy to enhance your cure must contain platinum-based drugs. So I would like to give you that advice for you to check that carboplatin or cisplatin must be in the cocktail. Now, as regards the addition of oil, I always believe that anything that cannot harm you should be added to conventional treatment, but it cannot replace this treatment. You do need chemotherapy. So I beg and ask of you not to discontinue the chemotherapy, even if you feel better with the oil, because recurrent medulloblastoma does need this cocktail. But if you add the oil to it, this would be very acceptable. And lastly, I just wish you a speedy recovery.
What is CBD oil, and can it be harmful, or is it harmless?
It's more or less harmless. It is related to cannabis.
Right.
It's a family related to it, and it's very, very commonly used in, I don't know what part of the world this came from, but in all these countries, in the United Arab Emirates, they give it to every single person, even for cutting their toenails.
And it doesn't do any harm?
It doesn't do any harm. We are entering, it's quite interesting actually, we're entering a new historic phase of the development of cannabinoids related to the original marijuana and cannabis, which was so frowned upon, except in, for relaxation. But there are elements in this group of drugs, whether it's in the resin form or the oil form, and the oil form is legal, where it certainly does have properties of, one, reducing pain and stress. Now, even if it just does this and has no biological effect, it's going to have an effect, an overall effect on the efficiency of the usual treatment which is being given, and in this lady's case, chemotherapy. So more and more usage of this family of drugs. And it's particularly helpful in patients who are in chronic pain or stress. And so I would say to this lady, go for it, but don't miss out on your curative treatment. Thank you for listening. I hope you found this interesting. And if you did, please subscribe.